Online animators are freaks. I've said it time and time again, so let's dive into 3 more instances where online animators were exposed for straight up war crimes. Without further ado, it's time for part 5 of Animayhem, the series where I do a deep dive into exposed animators. We'll be talking false allegations, scams, and making NSFW content of the recently deceased. And first up to bat today, let's talk about an exposure that backfired. Let's talk about Hypercrystal. In case you don't know Hypercrystal, he made animation content in a BFDI style. BFDI, by the way, stands for Battle for Dream Island. Fans of BFDI are commonly known as the Object Show community, and in the Battle for Dream Island you have a bunch of inanimate objects such as pencils, golf balls and teardrops, all competing against each other to win, as you might guess, Dream Island. Over the years, this community has grown substantially, and today there are countless YouTubers making their own object shows inspired by BFDI, and 3 such creators that are relevant to the story we'll be telling today are Hypercrystal, Odyssey 10, and Miles Doodle Art. Hypercrystal, for one, was fast to gain a notable following, but that would all come crashing down in 2023 after he did something that would later become one of the biggest mistakes of his life. According to Hyper, he was told by Miles Doodle Art, his best friend at the time, that he was being groomed by Odyssey 10. Believing him implicitly, Hyper began writing all of the claims and accusations down into a Google Doc that he later published, using his fairly large platform to attempt to cancel Odyssey. What Hyper didn't know though was that much of what he was told was a lie, as Odyssey later came out with a response video debunking these claims with relative ease. For example, Hyper claimed that Odyssey had groomed Miles over VC, but Hyper was never part of these calls, nor were any parts of them recorded. Hyper also claimed that a message Odyssey had sent where he claimed that he hated his age was predatory, but that's not always the case. Odyssey, within his response, defended himself by saying that he felt as though for his age, he hadn't done much with his life. Now, Odyssey wasn't entirely blameless. He was 22 at the time and had a bit of a habit trauma dumping and publicly venting to minors, including Miles. That's not exactly appropriate, but as Odyssey said in his response, when people are having poor mental health, which he proved in his response by the way, logic isn't always at the forefront. This gets even worse though, because through DMs, Hypercrystal was quite rude and insulting towards him. He claimed that Odyssey was running away or ducking from the allegations, but when Odyssey and others tried to contact Hyper, he just wouldn't respond. And another problem with Hypercrystal's accusations was that he might have not known exactly what grooming was. As Odyssey brings up in his response, Hypercrystal knew that Odyssey was asexual. He's actually aromantic as well, so he wouldn't be grooming minors for sexual pleasure. Hypercrystal continued by making claims that he was grooming them non-sexually. But realistically, if you're using these words, you need to be very careful, because when people hear words such as grooming, they automatically think that you mean pedo. After Odyssey's response, it was clear that Hyper had severely misinterpreted things. Perhaps even maliciously, given that he wouldn't respond to anyone that was asking to speak to him. Following this, the tide would turn as more and more people were made aware that Hypercrystal's claims were untrue, leading to severe backlash on Hyper's part. Hypercrystal would announce that he was going to retire his channel, which in fairness was taken quite well by his audience. People were sending him heartfelt goodbyes. However, after a long hiatus, he would make a return to the platform within a video titled Taking Accountability, in which he'd come clean about how things went down from his perspective. This is a flavour of what he had to say.
Going forward, I vow to never speak on something this serious without understanding it ever again. And to be more careful, more thoughtful, and more responsible with how I use my platform. And that responsibility carries over to the way I treat people. I'm genuinely ashamed of the person I was back then. I was extremely rude and inconsiderate, and I prioritized my own self-image over treating people with basic respect. I'm deeply sorry to anyone who was affected by this, as you most definitely didn't deserve it, and I'm hoping to be able to personally apologize to anyone affected. I don't expect forgiveness, and I don't want to garner any sympathy. I know this long overdue apology doesn't undo what I did, and it doesn't erase the pain I caused, but I want this to mark a turning point for me. I'm done hiding from my mistakes or trying to outrun them. From here on, I'm choosing to put in the work to actually be better.
Now here's the thing. What Hypercrystal did was obviously wrong. Making false allegations about a person is a huge deal and is hugely problematic. However, I'm not going to go too hard in on Hypercrystal because firstly, his response video was probably one of the better ones that I've ever seen. He doesn't really show any ego, he doesn't try to defend himself, he very plainly admits that what he did was a huge mistake. I can respect someone that does live up to their critique and doesn't try to pass the blame off to someone or something else. And on top of that, little did many of his fans know, but Hypercrystal, as of the time he made the allegations, was only 15 years old. Odyssey was clearly the victim here, but maybe Hypercrystal was too in a way. If Miles was telling him outright lies, if he was manipulating him or coercing him into doing his bidding, I can see how a gung-ho, naive 15-year-old might hear of an injustice involving his friend and try to throw his weight around in order to make things right. Especially given that there's a rumour that Miles was actually the one grooming Hypercrystal. That said, I don't want to delve too much into that claim because I only saw the one accusation during my research. So you might be wondering, what happened next? His response video was taken relatively well, all things considered, with a largely positive like to dislike ratio, and his videos since, while not exactly reaching the heights of his pre-controversy numbers, are still raking in view counts in the tens or even hundreds of thousands. He made it clear that he was not forgiven by Odyssey, and that he didn't care for anyone else's opinion, given that it's not really on them to forgive or not forgive. If I was Odyssey, yeah, I could definitely see why he wouldn't want to forgive someone for saying all of that. But I do want to say that I'm glad that Odyssey was able to prove his innocence, and I hope this is a reminder for people if they're going to accuse someone of doing horrific things, they need to have the facts correct first. But with Hypercrystal's story now told, I say this all the time, but if you're enjoying yourself right now, then please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also make sure to stay engaged down in the comment section. What do you think of that story? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that Hypercrystal should have been exiled from the internet? Let me know your thoughts on that situation, as well as the ones we have coming up. But if you're on the fence about liking and subscribing, I'll let the rest of this video speak for itself. With that said, for our next animator, he's one that let his ambition become his downfall. A single video ruined his credibility and potentially his entire career. This is Gibthom. Now, in case you don't know him, Gibthom is an animator that blew up in mid-2024. And when I say blew up, I mean blew up. I have never seen such a gargantuan spike in growth. Dude went from gaining 2,000 subscribers in March 2024 to 600,000 in July 2024. That's more than triple my sub count, and he did it all in 31 days. Now, you would hope that he would take advantage of this fantastic opportunity placed right at his fingertips, that he would cultivate a loyal audience that would keep coming back, that he would thank them for changing his life, and he scammed them. What? Yeah, he was plugging a crypto coin. Poof. So over the past several years, the internet has seen many content creators promote crypto coins to their audience. And in July 2025, we saw another creator, one that was perhaps a little bit late to the party, jump in with their own cryptocurrency controversy. And that creator was Gibthom. By all accounts, I don't think his animations were that bad, and high quality animations on YouTube can garner an audience very, very quickly. But how, my friend, do you cash all of that in for a crypto coin scheme? Like, this man had the world handed to him on a silver platter, and he still managed to mess it up. So without further ado, I'm gonna play you a short clip from this now unlisted announcement video titled The Bitcoin Project, so we can see just how this played out.
Gib, look at this! Someone just sent me a full Bitcoin!
Whoa, what the? Me too? Wait, it's not a Bitcoin, it's Bipcoin? Did you make a cryptocurrency?
Well, cryptocurrency, it's basically like it has a value, and when you have it inside of the economy with validity, with the blockchain, and it's secure, and I don't really know what it is.
Now, I don't think I need to tell you guys that when it comes to creator-pushed crypto coins, they are by and large shilled out by snake oil salesmen that are just looking to make a quick buck. They're being paid gross amounts of money by crypto coin companies to essentially scam you. There's an old saying, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. If it seems like a scam, it probably is. audiences would see right through his scheme, and the video received 8.4 thousand dislikes compared to only 3.7 thousand likes. The comments are filled to the brim with people expressing that one of their favorite YouTubers is now a scammer, and they wish this wasn't real, but alas, this video was very real. We would hear a little bit of insight from Gibthom within a follow-up called Gibthom Chest Speed Draw / rant about how I ruined my life as an artist. This video has also since been unlisted, but within it, Gibthom describes the events from his perspective. Now in total, he discusses this for about 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to play you guys a few different clips from the video so you can get a flavour of what he had to say. This won't be the entire thing, but you should get the gist.
And I get a call, this guy's like, hey, do you want to do a coin thing? And I'm like, well, heck no. I don't say that, but I keep thinking that in the back of my mind. And then this guy approaches, we'll call him my manager, and then my manager's like, oh yeah, you gotta do this. This is a good opportunity. We gotta make a coin. This is like, of course we gotta do this. And I mean, at the time I was like, well, I guess some people have had a lot of success with Bitcoin. I didn't know hardly anything about the space other than, Logan Paul did his Dink Doink coin, and that was sketchy, and so I was kind of afraid of it. But then the way they talked about it kind of made me think, okay, well, I mean, I guess I can get behind this, maybe. I can trust this. And I kind of just became a yes man while this was happening in the background. Like, I just wanted to make videos. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, this is going to be a nice addition to the channel. If it does well, maybe. I mean, come on, like, put yourself in my shoes. The channel was doing so well, it gave my brother a job. I was doing just perfectly financially. I was doing great, and we was thinking about all these branding things we could do, merchandise, allegedly working on a plushie, and then, I don't know, a friend of ours came to us, says, hey, this is also a thing you could do. I know you're branching out and doing all this stuff because of that coin. And a part of the argument that sold me was the idea that if I was to be on the team of the people who made the coin that did well of BIP, would I rather some random dude be the guy to make the BIP coin? Like, no, I guess. If we ever expect to get bigger, someone's going to do it eventually. Might as well be us. And I guess Trump was doing deregulation on all these coins, crypto coins and things. It just sounded like all these things were happening all at this time, and it sounded like, of all times to do a crypto coin, now would be the best, is what they were kind of approaching me with. And so, okay, listen, I was in this position where it was really hard to say no. And when I did say no, everyone's like, well, don't think that way. You gotta be positive, gotta do this. Like, come on, these guys are, doing this thing with us. They want what's best for us, and in the process, what's best for them. Like, come on, why are you being such a jerk and saying no? Like, you have this whole channel, you grew all this, at least use it to help the people around you, come on. And I'm like, well, I'm skeptical, but then my manager's like, no, this is clearly a good idea. And if this guy's approaching us, yes, you gotta do it. I was legitimately expecting a lot of people from the crypto world to see our channel, and, we was kind of promised, another 2-3 million subscribers from crypto people, which that was a bit of a stretch in hindsight. Like, okay, just because if we did a coin, but let's be honest, okay, anybody owning a channel in this day and age who is approached by anyone and that says, you can gain another 3 million subscribers if you just do this little deal, they're considerate at least.
So all in all, he blames his management for going behind his back, the crypto team for approaching him in the first place, and himself for being an idiot. To be honest, as a fellow creator, I have to give him some flack for this. Firstly, I don't know where he's getting this 3 million subscriber figure from, unless he was promised by the crypto team that they were going to artificially pump his sub count up. It makes no sense. There's no way that you could guarantee that you're going to gain 3 million subscribers. It's an arbitrary number. And if I've learned one thing on YouTube, it's that sub counts are not a guarantee. Any creator knows this. Maybe they told him that they were going to sub bot for him, but even then, it makes no sense. It doesn't matter. Sub count is vanity and vanity alone. If you're a content creator, you get paid through views. Sub count might legitimize you, it might give you clout and status. Companies might see that and, be more likely to sponsor you, but it doesn't actually do anything outside of that. Secondly, I think his head was definitely turned by the money offered. It's no secret that on the internet, sponsorship offers can be extremely lucrative. A channel that averages 1 million views per video could potentially be receiving 5 figures for a single integration, let alone a cryptocurrency that has an entire video dedicated to it and has the channel's icon on the token. And thirdly, At the end of the day, it was you that said yes. Your management might want you to do it because they're going to get some of the commission. Obviously, the crypto coin place wants you to do it because they approached you in the first place, but as the creator, you have the final say in anything you do or don't promote on the channel. Promoting something that later turns out as a scam, it makes it difficult for audiences to trust you. But very quickly, I want to turn your attention to potentially a bit of hypocrisy in his video, because he makes the claim that he still believes the crypto team had his audience's best interests at heart.
We wish them luck. We do think they're genuinely good people, but we're not a part of it because of all the backlash and all the hate that it's going to throw at us.
But he also makes the claim that he felt as though he was pressured into it by his management and the crypto team.
I'm sorry if it sounds selfish that I don't want to have a video up on my channel, which people are going to look at and immediately hate me for, but you gotta give me a little space, at least with something like this, okay?
I feel like the crypto team, if they genuinely did have people's best interests at heart, would be quite understanding that given the reputation of cryptocurrency on the internet, that a creator might not want to associate with it. And when it comes to his manager, based on what he's saying, they seem inept at best and slimy at worst, because they have entirely torpedoed his career and reputation. His long-term sponsorships probably would have outperformed what he made in the short term. To allegedly go behind his back and agree to this deal is just awful business. The video continues, and he revealed that he cut ties with the company altogether and implies that he might have given all the money back.
At least I was able to get the video down and discontinue working together, at very least, okay? And that is miles better than just letting it all happen and just, you know, slowly but surely losing all the personality in my channel. And it's just suddenly this corporate flipping bullcrap.
Today, Bitcoin is, to my best estimate, trading at $0.00. The final tweet about it read, "Markets are bleeding pretty bad, we're still here holding." Well, I hope that they're still holding, because that was the final tweet Bitcoin ever posted. And in the replies to this, I found an image. I don't know if it's legit, I hope it's not, but I thought I'd share it anyway because it's quite funny. It's a puppet, I kind of recognize this puppet, wearing a nappy with a pencil up its nose, tweeted by the Bitcoin project and captioned, "Hey F-slurs, here's the token address to Bitcoin." I'm not sure if this is legit or if it's faked. I hope it's faked. But what the hell am I even looking at? Towards the end of the video, Gibthom laments on his situation.
It's just so brutally sad that our amazing channel that was doing so well, and flippin' wannabe YouTube kid animator was growing and was doing well, and then we was approached by these people, and it just looks like we will never be viewed the same way ever again. There's an amount of people that will hate us from this point to the rest of their lives. There's nothing we could do about that, and that sucks, and that hurts to the core of everything I stand for. Artistic integrity, not being a sellout, wanting to make something that people will resonate with, all out the window because I was a part of a crypto thing.
And I think he's right. His channel will never be seen the same again. His long-form videos, released after the controversy, received much lower view counts than his pre-controversy content, and he hasn't posted a long-form video in 7 months. Having heard this, what do you guys think? Do you have any morsel of sympathy for him? Do you think that he's lying? Do you think that he's trying to cover up for his exposure? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But let this be a lesson to any aspiring creator: don't go too hard chasing the almighty dollar, because sometimes your ambition can ruin your career in a heartbeat. They say money is the root of all evil. I say it's PNG tubers. And our next story is a prime example of that. She might not look like the spawn of Satan, but you guys have to believe me when I say that this kawaii waifu cat girl is a she-demon, and her name is Meowbah. Over the years, Meowbah has developed quite the reputation on YouTube, with an extensive rap sheet of controversies that she's been accused of. So first things first, when it comes to Meowbah, it would be tough to talk about her without going into her controversies surrounding race, slurs, and identity. And to be honest, when it comes to this, I don't even know where to start, because Meowbah has said basically every word under the sun. She's previously said the R word, related to the disabled.
Reading Meow's TikTok comments. Meow, can you say this kawaii word? Retard. Okay, retard.
In one short, she cut herself off before saying the F slur, and in one video pretended to come out as transgender.
Reading Meow's Discord questions, part 15. Is Meowbah trans? Happy Pride Month. Meow is transgender. Meow hopes you all support.
But Meowbah hasn't just pretended to be trans, she's also pretended to be both Muslim and black, which we'll get back to in a moment. In the meantime, let's dig more into her Islamic era. Meowbah has also gone on record saying that she could beat up Allah, the god of the Islamic faith. And she's done a few things that have angered Muslims. For example, she drew an NSFW picture of herself in the hijab. In fact, she had quite a bit of a story arc wearing the hijab, which many people thought was trying to mock the faith. To be honest, that's a tame drawing for her standards. We'll be getting into her other drawings later in the video. If you're interested, Meowbah's religion is her own. She's a Meowist preaching Meowism to her followers. Many have argued that she's running a cult, because you have to pray to Meowbah to be a Meowist. And that means that any Meowists that find this might be mad at me for critiquing their deity, so I need to be very careful in what I say next. In the meantime though, outside of her Muslim era, she also had an era where she was, black. I don't know if this counts as virtual blackface, I don't know if it counts as straight up blackface, I don't even know if I should be the one telling this, but what the hell? She's also come under fire for faking her own side, like the time she made a response video to a controversy that we'll get into in just a moment. In this, she claimed to have bipolar and dissociated identity disorder. The video has some more classic Meowbah ramblings, and the ending implied that Meowbah might kill herself. She uses language like saying she's going to Meowven to pay for humanity's sins, and it appears as though she's on top of a tall building looking down. As you probably won't be surprised to hear, Meowbah did not seppuku. She's still around to this very day and would go on to commit several more atrocities, which we'll get into in just a moment. And if you know the sins of Meowbah, you'll know what's about to come. That takes me to the Technoblade post. On the 30th of July 2022, Meowbah made a post to her Twitter plugging her Patreon. The post contained a censored drawing, and the drawing depicted Meowbah's character straddling a dead Technoblade in his casket. Keep in mind that Technoblade died on the 30th of June 2022, so this was posted a mere month after his passing. As you might expect, responses to this post were volatile to say the least. Many people deem this as utterly repulsive and entirely disrespectful. I've spoken about people's reactions to Technoblade's passing quite a lot recently, just by chance. But it's crazy to me that people just wouldn't let him rest. And yet, because he was a famous Minecraft YouTuber, people felt the right to make light of the situation, to try and make a quick buck from it, or to try and plug their Patreons. Worse yet, in June 2024, the account posted an image of a Technoblade plushie in straight up pink BDSM gear. I was able to find another video of this person straddling the plush. This was posted 2 years after his passing, almost to the day. I just ask, why can't people let this young man rest? And speaking of young men, let's talk about something she did to another young man. A very young man, in fact. If you thought she couldn't get any worse, listen to this. On the 14th of October 2022, she would post yet another censored image to her Twitter, once more plugging her Patreon. She captioned it, "Turning Tommy into Meow's little submissive femboy. He likes it." And while for very obvious reasons I can't show this image, I can tell you that it depicts Tommy tied up and on a leash. I should mention that by October 2022, Tommy would have been 18 years old. I think he turned 18 in April of that year. But I think it's fair to say that drawing kinky NSFW artwork of anyone that's 18 is going to raise some red flags and draw some critique. So after being made aware of the fact that Meowbah made NSFW artwork of an 18-year-old and a dead person, you might be wondering to yourself, what other depravities are kept in the Meowbah Patreon? Well, I decided that I would take a look for myself. Let me clarify right now, and lock me away if you must, I did not pay to access her Patreon. I was, however, able to find the bulk of these images online, don't ask me how, and I'm a changed man now. My reaction to this was the exact same as Steve Buscemi's from Spy Kids 2.
Do you think God stays in heaven because He too lives in fear of what he's created?
I saw her straddling queso, I saw NSFW drawings of Gypsy Rose, I even saw an NSFW drawing of Jellybean's avatar, because Jellybean had just turned 18 a day or two before. Apparently that gave Meowbah the right to make this grotesque drawing of this PNG tuber, and the two had some sort of weird rivalry, so to get one over on Jellybean, she drew an absolute monstrosity. There was an NSFW drawing involving Rambo, who's another Minecraft YouTuber, and while I wasn't able to find an archive of this one, according to the title of one of her latest posts, she's also recently made a drawing involving Charlie Kirk. And given that Mr. Kirk only died a few weeks ago, that means that Meowbah is still up to her old tricks, even years down the line. Now, after all of that, after everything I've shown you, I have to admit that Meowbah is bait. Anytime someone clicks on her stuff to see what kind of crazy thing she's done now, anytime someone leaves hate comments on her videos, anytime content like this is made, it fuels her business practice. Just like with Bella the Wolf, she wants to be controversial. She wants to get people talking about her. She is a master of the craft, it has to be said. Meowbah can insult deities, she can make NSFW artwork of the deceased, she can do virtual blackface, and she gets away with it. Not only that, she gets paid for it. The more over the line she goes, the more people that will discuss it, and therefore, the more revenue that she makes. So as long as she doesn't go too over the line and get banned, I can see her doing this for a long time to come. I'm certain that this won't be the last we see of her, and I hope this isn't the last you see of me. If you enjoyed this video, then why not check out the rest of the animayhem series? With this being the 5th part, if you're new to the channel, we have 4 more videos just like this one for you to sink your teeth into. Click on the playlist on your screen right now to check it out. If you enjoyed this, I promise you won't be disappointed. Aside from that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.